Parents need to be involved in a child's education if they want to get into a top-ranked school. It will be hard for the child, but when they grow up, they will thank their parents for pushing them. So I said parents need to be involved in a child's education. If parents are involved, that means they're taking part in the process of something. If they're not involved, that means they are not taking in the process. So if a parent is involved in education, they're making sure the child does their homework, they're making sure they do the after-school classes, and they're making sure they study. That is being involved. And I said they need to be involved if they want to get into a top-ranked school. So the top-ranked schools are, what we say, the 1 through 10s, like in Korea would be the Sky schools. Those are the top 3 ranked schools, or, the top first ranked, top second ranked, top third ranked, so on. That's how we say that. And then finally, I think they will thank their parents for pushing them. So you can physically push somebody with your hands, or you can push a door open, but to push someone means to encourage them to do something. For example, let's say your boyfriend or your girlfriend, a little bit overweight. You might want to say, hey, look, you need to go to the gym. It's unhealthy to be overweight. You should go to the gym, you'll feel better. You're kind of verbally pushing them a little bit. You're trying to get them to do something. So when parents push their children, they tell them, instruct them, and guide them to study harder. Parents need to be helicopter parents in their child's education if they want them to go to the best schools. It will not be easy for the child, but it will pay off in the end, and they will be thankful for the attention they received. So I said parents need to be helicopter parents. So this is an expression we use for parents who are very involved in their child's upbringing. So if you think of a parent as a helicopter, they're always over them. They're always looking at what they're doing and kind of guiding them and managing their day-to-day to make sure they're doing their best. So they're very heavily involved in the child's life. That's a helicopter parent. And I said, it will pay off in the end. So we kind of have an expression, hard work pays off in the end, or effort will pay off in the end. It means, if you're working hard for, say, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, but you don't see any results, the hard work will pay off in the end. And the end means kind of the final time of your work. So over 20 years, all that hard work in the beginning will pay off. It means it will reward you for all the hard work you did. Parents need to leave their children alone when it comes to education. Micromanaging a child's education does not guarantee success. In the modern era, we see more and more people becoming successful without a university degree. So I said micromanaging a child's education does not guarantee success. To micromanage means to be involved in every aspect of something. So for example, you can have a boss. If this boss is always asking you, what are you doing? Where are you? They need to know where you are every second of the day. That is micromanaging. The opposite would be macro-managing, where you don't look into someone, you kind of give people a lot of power and autonomy to do what they want. And that's macromanaging. Micromanaging is to be more focused. And I see it said in the modern era, we see more and more people becoming successful without a university degree. In the modern era just means today, in the internet age. I mean, you can learn everything you need to know online or on YouTube. So that's why we see kind of people teaching themselves and becoming their own bosses at such a young age. Going to college is becoming antiquated. No longer does a degree equal a good career. Parents need to be more hands-off and let their children learn on their own. So I said going to college has become antiquated. The university system has been in place for a couple hundred years now, but nowadays, since we can learn everything online and people can be self-taught, especially when it comes to computers and programming, you don't need to spend all that money to go to college to learn that. And I said parents need to be more hands-off. So, we talked about micromanaging. That's kind of when someone is hands-on. They're heavily involved in someone's work or a process. But to be hands-off means you don't really touch it. You let the child do what they want, and at the end of the week, you kind of see the progress. So that's kind of there's two different contrasting views. Micromanaging, hands-off, macromanaging. Standardized tests are a limited indicator of intelligence. It is a process everyone needs to go through, but does not reflect whether the student is well-rounded. Parents need to focus on other aspects of the child's development. So I said standardized tests are a limited indicator of intelligence. So a standardized test is like the SAT test or any sort of test where you have to fill in a Scantron or multiple choice. And they're usually given out by the state or the government. And they're kind of a standard test that everyone has to take. So we call them standardized tests. And they're a limited indicator of intelligence, means they're kind of limited. An indicator is to see the progress of something or how something is doing. So what this sentence means is that the standardized tests only kind of test one area of intelligence. It doesn't test other parts. And it is a process everyone has to go through, but it does not reflect whether the student is well-rounded. So for universities and colleges in America, they will look at a student, but they don't only look at the test score. They'll look at the test score, they'll look at grades, and then they'll look at other things like after-school activities. They'll see if the student played sports. They'll see if the student played an instrument or if the student was involved in some sort of club activity. They'll even look at if a student had started his or her own new business. And all of these things are kind of put together. And if you have all of these aspects, you are what we call well-rounded. Parents have tunnel vision when it comes to college entrance exams. All they care about is the final score and little else. Parents should raise their children to be intellectually and emotionally prepared to be adults. So that first part of the sentence, parents have tunnel vision when it comes to college entrance exams. So tunnel vision, you have to imagine if you took your hands or your fingers, both of them, and made little circles and put them on your eyes. Your tunnel vision means you're kind of in a tunnel. You see the end, but you do not see what is around you. So when someone has tunnel vision, they're very focused on one thing and one thing only, and not other things kind of around them. So parents in this case have tunnel vision. They only care about the test score and nothing else. Thanks, guys. Thanks for downloading. Bye-bye.